The fan comes on for no reason. My guy fixed it and he really screwed it. Okay. Oh my gosh, we are live. I'm so sorry, folks. We are live. I'm here with Crystal Trumbull from
Hi.
Steampunk Farms Rescue Barn. And we got a notification this week through social media. I'm going to read a little bit. It says here that you are in crisis mode and that you are looking to rehome some of the animals. We have food to last 17 more days. We expect to a check to match, so to carry you through November. But as of December 1st, you have no more food. And so I would say that you are in crisis mode right now. And
Absolutely.
is that still the situation? Crystal, and welcome, by the way. Welcome to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. We care very much about these animals and we want to help. So we want to tell people what is going on and what they can do to help. So where would you like to start? Do you want to show us around a little bit? And as you do, you can talk about the animals. I know that you have taken in animals that a lot of them I saw had injuries that were hard to place, and they were kind of last resort animals. Let me see if I can bring up some of the different, like this particular situation where you are taking in and it's causing a lot of money. Of course, you're putting a lot of money into the surgeries, etc. And you do kind of specialize in taking the animals that other people don't want to take. Is that true?
That's exactly. Yeah, we call ourselves a safety net sanctuary. That's been the term that we kind of adopted for ourselves a few years ago, and we feel like it really fits because sometimes there's animals who come up either in the shelter system or from slaughterhouses or whatever the case, and there's for some reason or another a lot of interest. There's actually multiple offers to take those animals in. And we always say, absolutely, we love nothing more than when someone else, whether a private home or another rescue, is able to take those animals. And when people come to me with individual requests to surrender, I have a list of other sanctuaries that I ask they contact. I give them a list of Facebook groups to post in. I really try to encourage them to look absolutely everywhere else. And then what I've always been able to tell them is that if it comes to the last day, if you're facing a situation where the animal goes to slaughter in the morning or you're losing your home the next day, if there's really no other options whatsoever, then please contact me again and we'll do everything we can to make it work, to move things around, move animals around, move money around, do what we can. And so that's really been our specialty for a number of years now, was just to help the animals who are completely out of all other options.
But a lot of things have happened, COVID, etc. And right now, we want to talk about the situation as it stands right now. And you have
let me flip my camera around so that you can get a better view.
Why don't you walk us around? Now, you tell me that you are on 10 acres there, and you have about 450 animals, but 100 of those are chickens.
So about 120 of them are chickens. So looking out this way, looking out this way, this main yard is about 4 acres, and it's home to all of the goats, the sheep, the donkeys, and most of the cows. They all live communally on about 4 acres. And then towards the back of this picture, we have, or this view, we have what we call our timeout pen for cows. And those are 2 particular cows who are very destructive to fence lines and manage to get out of every type of fencing we've offered them, except for that pipe corral. So they're in the timeout pen and they don't get to range quite as much.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you zoom in a little closer on them so we can see the animals? We'd love to see if I can.
Let me see if I can just zoom and not. If I try to go too close to them, I'm going to lose Wi-Fi. But I did see somewhere here. Let me see if I flip it back this way. Get out of settings. I did see somewhere that I could.
It's okay. Don't try to get fancy. Just stay where you are with the link.
Okay.
This is
Let's see.
perfect.
Oh, there we
Maybe
go.
move
Okay.
around
I
a
can just
little.
zoom in like that.
Yeah, that's good. So tell us
Can
what
you
we're
see
looking
that
at.
zoom
It's a
for you?
little hard to see. What are we
Yeah.
looking?
So
What are we
yeah,
looking?
that's the timeout pen for the cows, and then we also have 2 horses that have a pen of their own back there. Kona and Jazzy. Jazzy is a retired thoroughbred off the racehorse or off the racetracks.
Mm-hmm.
And Kona is just a very elderly senior citizen who is at the divorce shelter up in San Bernardino. So that's who's over there. If I bring you back here,
Yeah.
so the situation, what we're looking at right now is we built the sanctuary up over the last about 6.5 years. And
yeah.
for the last few years, we were actually able to maintain our status quo in terms of food, structures, safety for the animals, basic vet care. Everything was very well balanced. Let's show Pearly here. There's Miss Pearl. Everything was really well balanced between donations and expenses with some added support by us out of pocket. And then right about this time last year, our hay supplier told us that hay was going to be increasing from $14 a bale to $16 a bale. And we panicked thinking that sure seemed like a big increase all at once. But it was still doable. It was still manageable. It increased our costs about $10 a day, but it was a manageable amount. And then as this year has gone on, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. Somewhere about mid-year, I think it hit its peak that we're still sitting at right now, where hay is $30 a bale. So we're up over 100% from just 1 year ago. It's just made everything we do so difficult to balance. Prices
And
are.
let me just jump in here a minute and say that you are looking to rehome some of the animals because we may lose some of our people. Let me just jump in here. If you're just tuning in, I am here with Crystal Trumbull, Steampunk Farms Rescue Barn, and she is giving us a rescue tour. But this particular sanctuary is in crisis at the moment, is dire need of donations, and that is why we're doing this emergency show. Can you please share this video if you can, if it's in your heart, and if you can, I realize things are tough, but any little amount will help. I'm going to be flashing multiple ways for you to donate, but also sharing out this video expands the reach and allows for more people to have the opportunity to participate. Also, I want to just throw in here that you are looking to rehome some potbelly pigs. You are looking for applications, and they go through a process, a very stringent process. But also
Exactly.
you are looking to, you have 2 groups of goats as well up for adoption, potentially a group of 3 and a group of 4 that are bonded. But you are looking for some rehoming support as well as donations and other. Are you looking for volunteers? What sort of help are you looking for?
We are always happy to have volunteers. We're fairly far from anywhere, and so it usually requires a group of people getting together and carpooling to really make it worth it. Otherwise, it's 2+ hours each way for, if it's just an individual, that's usually pretty hard for them to make work. But a group, if some people want to get together and carpool, that's exactly the kind of help we need, because enough hands allows us to do some of the really big projects and the lifting steel panels and
Wow.
that sort of work that we're really not just with
Well,
the few of us who live here.
yes, I understand. Now I realized I saw on Instagram that there was some flooding, and your part of one of the buildings came down.
Yeah.
Was that?
Hurricane K, or Tropical Storm K, came through and hit us pretty good from the east. We got 6 inches of rain in that one day, and gusts that were hitting up to 100 miles per hour. We had quite a bit of flooding. We ended up having a number of animals in the house that night. Had to move them around after dark. It was terrifying. It was a very scary night. And the back of one of our shelters managed to come off entirely from the wind. If I come over here, I think you can probably see it. Wow. This shelter here, right there, that one used to have a big back panel across it. And you can see it's kind of a little cockeyed and the back has come off. So that's the sort of project that we definitely need volunteers to do, because those pieces of steel they're physically too much for just the three of us. So
now I understand. So again, we want to repeat that. Anybody who would like to volunteer, maybe come plan, of course, call ahead, plan it out. And we'd like to come up as a group and work on a project. That would be a great thing. Now, we want to see what you're showing us here. I think you have some dairy calves.
Rodeo calves here. Yeah, these are our baby girls.
Calves.
Yeah, these two baby girls. This is Chloe and JC. They've been with us for about 1.5 years now, but they came to us advertised as perfect for the freezer because they had joint injuries from roping at the rodeo, and it was considered that they wouldn't be able to grow to adult size because of these joint injuries, that they would just be too disabled and in too much pain. And so they were better off put in the freezer at just a few months old. And we decided to give them a chance, and we had our vet out to look at their conditions. And one of them is only nerve injury. There's nothing that shows up on X-ray or anything like that. So he determined that it's just nerve injury, which means it's very manageable. It's something that she can grow her entire life, live a normal cow life. The other one, Chloe does have some deterioration in her joints. She has it was called OCD, osteochondral degeneration. It's going to potentially be painful, but at the time it's not. Like I said, she's been here for 1.5 years. They've probably doubled, if not tripled, their sizes, and we have yet to see any indication that they are at all in pain or uncomfortable. They do both walk with limps, but they've never missed a meal. And we're having annual x-rays taken just to make sure. But we're seeing that they're wonderful. They're doing really, really well, considering the poor prognosis we were given.
Yeah, so easy for some individuals to write animals off like they're just another piece of tissue. I want to show a couple of how much fun I guess it is to volunteer there. This is probably back.
That's the little girl.
Well, that was a story. I didn't think it was that one. Who's that you've got there?
That's her. Her name is Crew. K''Rue, like kangaroo. She was born with inability to use her front legs, and so she was surrendered with her mom at birth. And we had her legs x-rayed, and she's actually missing some bones entirely. She has been fitted for multiple different wheelchairs, and she just doesn't like them. She prefers to be a strong, independent girl, and she would rather walk up on her back feet or kind of hop around. Right now, she's calling for my husband. She's calling for Eric because she's kind of a daddy's girl, and he's walking away. So she's going to go.
There is a called what is, I can't think of it right now. Wizard of Paws, of course.
Yes.
Because that could possibly help you in the future with that.
I would love to be able to work with Derek. He does some fantastic work. And she hates every type of standard wheelchair we've given her. So getting her
able to make her front legs prosthetic. prosthetics. And
he's coming back for you.
Let's look at another video here. It's really short, but very sweet.
Oh, you're so sweet. So cute. I would save you from the Death Star if I had a stormtrooper.
Yeah, that one you're looking at, that was Queen Leia. She is queen of Steampunk Farms Rescue Barn. We coronated her at a celebration and everything. She is the official royalty. She's a very special needs little piglet. She was a runt, and then she had a seizure at about 3 months old. And the seizure lasted hours and hours and hours. And when she came out of it, there was really no expectation that she was going to survive. She wasn't able to swallow. We had to tube feed her. And just as I was thinking that this may not be any quality of life that was worth forcing her through, she started chewing at the feeding tube. And so I got the feeling that she might be interested in syringe. And she moved from a syringe to eating baby food out of a dish, and then eventually to eating like a normal piglet. And so she's still got she's got some delays. Her tongue kind of hangs out a little interestingly, but yeah, Queen Leia is absolutely fantastic.
I'm trying to find your picture. I thought I had one, but I'm going to go through some of these pictures now, and you can talk just briefly but before we do that, let's just remind everyone why we're here. You are in need of donations. How much food do you have left, and what is the point where you are really in dire need? Tell us, for the people just tuning in.
Right now, we have just about 1 week of food on site here. We do have expected donations for 1 more month's worth. And then there's really been a wonderful outpouring of support since I put out this crisis mode plea for help. And we funded almost another entire month. So right now, once everything comes in, we are expecting to have everyone fed and cared for through the end of the year, which gives us a little bit of time to find those perfect adoptive homes to lessen the load a little bit. I'm very grateful for all that support, because I was very worried about having to send the animals just to whoever the first application was. And now, having a little bit more time, I feel much better knowing that I have those weeks to really go through applications and do full interviews and full home checks, and really make sure that every animal that is rehomed is going to the best possible home, not just the first available. And so that's really just a wonderful stress off my mind to know that we have those couple of weeks.
But January is right around the corner. So
it is. It's going to come fast. Absolutely. And so we need to keep building up that we need the leads. We need anybody who knows somebody who maybe has one pig and would be interested in adding a pig. We do have to look into zoning. There's a lot of areas that aren't allowed to have potbelly pigs. So we do need to check somebody's zoning and make sure that it's going to work for them long term and be legal. But if somebody already has a pig, then that's a good indication that hopefully they are zoned for one. So that would be somebody we would love to talk to about maybe adding a pig to their family.
Right. So it's complicated and will take some time, but with the help of others and with the help of our audience sharing this out, if they can, making a donation and checking out the website. I'm going to show some more pictures of animals, but in a moment, but I do want to see if I can make this come up here. What's going on? Having a little bit of a, well, here we go. There we go. So here's your website. I'm going to go over to the website and scroll through. People can come on here and they can learn about your story. They can learn about the folks that work with you and all of that. But the main thing we want to show them, so you can, there's a ton of information, but the main thing is how to give going to go to this one because this sanctuary needs our help. The donate button is here. And then you can just talk through some of the other things. So you can come in here and make a donation, $5, $10. That would help. If you can do more, 20 or 40, of course, the more you can help, the better. Maybe you can do $5 a month. Whatever works for you, it could really help so much, particularly right now, from what I understand. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to make this.
Yeah, and something I always try to point out, people comment all the time on social media that they wish they could do more, or they're sorry that they can only do $1 or $5. And I try to repeat endlessly that there really is no donation too small. I know it sounds cliche, but it only takes $1 from 1,000 people to be the same as somebody who has $1,000 to give. And so there really is, it's true that there is no donation too small. And really those small donations add up quickly when we just get everybody working on the same team.
Yeah. I think that's so true. And people do need to realize that every little bit helps. So please come over to the website. I have it up on the screen. It's really nicely done with a lot of information about the organization. Check it out. And let's go through some of the photos that I have here. And you could talk a little bit. I love this guy. Tell us about this fellow.
That is King Charles. King Charles is actually not here. King Charles is a dog that we helped to pull from the Sayaka shelter up in Downey, and he was on his very last hours of life. He was imminent for euthanasia, and he had a foster offer, and he had some offers of support. And so all we really needed to do was be an intermediary to help collect those donations from the supporters and give them to the foster to be able to get him to the vet, get him the treatment he needed. He had really terrible pneumonia, and his survival alone was a little bit on the rocks for a while. But he was staying with the most incredible foster family I've ever worked with. They were so committed and devoted to him. And she actually just told me last week that he's going to be staying with them. So that is some of the best news I've ever heard. It is the absolute best possible family for that big old man.
That's awesome. Let's go through, but we might need to go a little faster. Just give us a really brief synopsis. So tell us about this fellow.
Yeah. Toby was an FFA sheep up in Central California, and his
for people that don't know what that is, what's FFA?
Yeah, that's the Future Farmers of America, where high school students get school credit for raising an animal. But what they don't often realize is that at the end of the semester, they take that animal to auction, and it's sold by the pound, but either way, typically for slaughter. And so that student reached out to us and wanted an opportunity to send his boy to sanctuary rather than slaughter. And so Toby's been living with us for about 2.5 years.
That's wonderful. I'll keep going so we can hit on each one. And
that's
who is this?
Eeyore. Eeyore is your average Southern California shelter potbelly pig. He was in a shelter. He had no adoption interest whatsoever. He had overstayed his welcome. He was still intact. He had not been neutered, which is true of, I would say, easily 95% or more of the pigs that we find in shelters. And so Eeyore is really just iconic of the shelter situation right now with potbelly pigs.
Yeah, that is so sad.
It is.
Now this baby's got surgery going on here, right?
This is Wendy. Wendy is a pretty old lady. She's been with us since 2018, and she was already on the older side of things. And then she managed to break her leg, and she was dealing with it really well. She was not acting as though it was broken. So we were suspecting something like a sprain. But when the vet came, gosh, that's just one of the worst breaks I've ever seen. It was in a terrible location at a terrible angle. And he was not very hopeful about her recovery because of her age. And to everyone's surprise, she's doing just fantastically. I don't know if you still have my camera on, but she's here right in front of me right now. This is Wendy.
Wow.
Her cast is there.
Let's
she
see if
is. Her cast is off. She does have a vet wrap bandage just to give her a little extra support, but she's doing remarkably well, considering the vet just 2 months ago was telling us that she was very unlikely to heal from a fracture at that angle, given her age and just her otherwise, starting to get kind of old body condition. So
Yeah.
she's doing remarkably well. There she is. She walks on it. She's a little cautious on that leg. Are you going to come up? Come here. You want to give a kiss?
Oh.
Yeah, she loves I miss Wendy. Beautiful girl.
Okay, Wendy. Well, glad to see you're doing well. Next along, we have.
She's doing very well.
That's so good. We have some turtles.
Oh, these are. These are our tortoises. I was a reptile rescue before we moved out here onto the 10 acres. When we were in the city, I took in lizards and tortoises. And so the 3 tortoises in the middle there are ones who have been with our family for 13 years now. They are estimated at somewhere between 40 and 50 years old. They are California desert tortoises, so they're native to the Mojave out here. And they brumate, which is a form of hibernation, all winter. And so they're starting to slow down right now this time of year. And really soon, in the next few weeks, they will go to sleep, and they'll stay asleep all the way until about March or even April. The other 2 tortoises there are different breeds who do not brumate, so they'll need to come inside and get artificial lighting and stay warm and stay fed all the way through the winter. But that's our little tortoise family.
Great. So next along, I think, did we already talk about this one?
We didn't, but you found some older pictures here. Both of these goats have since moved on. On the left side was Jinx. Jinx was one of our very first goats that we rescued in 2016, summer of 2016. And she developed a squamous cell carcinoma, very, very aggressive cancer that's not terribly common in goats, but it's significantly more common in light-skinned goats over the darker skin. And so any goat who is all white or primarily white is really susceptible to basically skin cancers. And she fought really long and hard, and she gave it her absolute best, but ended up passing away about 6 months after her diagnosis.
All right.
She did great. Yeah.
To cut in. I did take some of these from your website, but I just wanted to show that you also, and I'm going to go to the ones you gave me that are more recent in a second, but I just want to show you also have, as we mentioned, chickens. I have a couple of pictures here of the chickens. Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was just looking. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had his name is Russell. Russell Crowe.
Yeah. Where did you require most of your chickens from? Was it one rescue or several, or?
Actually, they've most of our chickens. I would say there's 3 distinct sets. We do help ex-battery layers. So when they come out of the battery cages, they're usually on their way directly from battery to slaughterhouse. And there's a rescue up in Central California that has a wonderful relationship with the battery. And so she's able to get them coming out of the battery before they go to the slaughterhouse. And then she helps to pass them along, distribute them to other rescues. And so when they come out of those situations, they're typically They're very anemic. They have very weak bones. They even have broken bones. They have lots of infections from being crammed in those crates with each other, where they, peck at each other and cause some open wounds. So they usually require quite a bit of rehabilitation, but they do. I mean, every day is a gift for them. Quite literally, they were on their way. They were going from one terrible form of existence to what was going to be the end of their existence. And so we absolutely love being part of their future, because they were never hatched to have one. So they're a group that really just makes me so happy to spend time with them. We also have a number of chickens from either the vigils, the slaughterhouses, or Caporos in New York City. And those are the Cornish, the meat birds, what are called meat birds.
Yes.
They,
we're familiar. I think most people are familiar with the ritual, and we say don't change the ritual or the religious practice, I should say, but change it to a more humane. Use coins, not chickens.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, let's stay on the subject though, because I wanted to cover, before the sun goes, I do have some more animals to show, but before the sun goes away, is there any place else on the rescue farm that you'd like to, the rescue barn that you'd like to show us, or animals? Let's do that, because we're going to lose our light.
Get over to some of the chicken areas.
Okay, yeah, wherever you feel you want to show us the animals. And again, folks, if you're just tuning in, please share this out. This Steampunk Sanctuary is in need of help. And as you can see, there are many animals here that are being taken care of and are in need of resources right now because of the economy, because of other things, some weather problems. They are in a dire situation. So we are looking at some of the chickens now. We moved over the chickens, but I will be putting up these banners intermittently. So this is where you can go to donate. Also, please share out the video, and I will have all of these top of this of the links to where you can donate. So you have opportunity to do that. Any amount is great. Sorry, go ahead, Crystal. So we're in the chicken coop.
Oh, yeah, my husband was holding the phone so that he could go up over the coop. Yeah, so these are last year's Caporos chickens. These are ones who came to us all the way from New York last year. We weren't able to take any this year just because we were already facing the depletion of our savings, and we were hitting that crisis mode. But these are last year's survivors, and so this is these are adult Cornish crosses, which is just a rarity in itself. They so rarely live to see anything beyond 6 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
So their area is called the workshop. They have this whole shed, a yard attached to the shed. And let's see, I'm walking into the sun here, so let me make sure I don't trip on anything, but I can get up to the other chicken coops here. Oh. Okay, this is part of our sustainability over here. This is a 5,000-gallon water tank that we were able to purchase this year. We do still need to plumb it in. This is more of our sustainability. These are our bioreactor compost bins. We take all of the animal poop and turn it into soil that we then use to grow greens and vegetables. And then these are our chicken coops. So we can look at, there we go.
It's lovely the way things are holding up, and we're able to hear and see them really well.
Yeah, we worked on the Wi-Fi to make sure that I could get at least to some of the top areas here.
That's great.
So these coops, there are 7 hoop coops.
I just want to mention to folks that you have a whole other area, another layer. Is that correct? You have a lower.
Go ahead. Exactly. Yeah. the Wi-Fi, we couldn't quite get it down there to the very lowest part of the fields. But what are you guys doing? These three girls right here, this is these white girls, the Leghorns. This is Jay, Lorelei, and Hadassa, and they were our very first battery hens. Hi, girl. Hi, sweetie. Yeah, they were the very, very
first. Yeah.
I'm thinking that was about 4 years ago. They're probably about 5 now because they came out of the battery at a year old.
Well, at least they're
doing beautifully.
Yeah, girls. They had a chance to have an actual life as opposed to being a battery.
And they got their red coloring back. Everything was just bleached out from anemia and deficiencies, and they're doing beautiful. This guy, his name is Donald, and he was from a fighting situation. He'd had his comb and wattles cut off. He had his spurs trimmed flat so that he could be fitted with blades instead. And he was at a shelter. He was up at the Lancaster shelter. And we've worked quite a bit with the Lancaster shelter.
Well, I just want to say people should take note of the condition of the animals when they're in battery cages, when they're on factory farms. Why would the people that still eat animals, why would they want to eat something that's unhealthy? And most of those come out, as you said, sick.
Absolutely. Yeah, when Lorelei and when our first battery hens came out, all 3 of them had worms. Jay had an eye so swollen that our vet didn't even know if the eye was still inside there. There was so much pus in front of it. It did end up being there, and once it was all out and she was on antibiotics, her eye, she seems to have perfect sight in it. But yeah, to think of the amount of infection and worms that were in that chicken, I just can't imagine. It's unfathomable that they would that anyone would want to eat that.
Absolutely. Well, maybe we should change the subject a little bit, but we're getting towards the end of our time. So is there anything else that you want people to know or want us to have the audience before we go?
I don't think there's anywhere else that we can get to without losing Wi-Fi as animals go. But
well, why don't you come back on for a moment and just talk for one more minute or so?
Okay, let me turn myself around here. Let's see. How did I do that before? You told me in things, right?
You go into settings. You go into settings and you found it right away.
Got it. Okay. Yes, there I am.
There you are. You want to go sideways though? It's fine. It's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I don't see myself, but that's okay. If you see me, that's good enough. There we go. I found it. Yeah, and actually behind me right now, see those 2 giant bins. Those are our grain bins. We were able to buy those this year, part of our sustainability plan. They hold about 4 tons of pig grain each. And so instead of buying bags, we're able to have the mill come out with the truck directly and just fill them from the top. And we can get 8 tons of grain at a time, which lasts us about 40 days. And so that's excellent. It's brought our costs down to feed the pigs. It's also eliminated a lot of our trash. We're not creating 10 bags a day of waste.
Yes, yes. So before we just wrap things up, I just want to make one more request of our audience. Please help sharing this out. There are so many animals here whose lives will be affected with just a little act of kindness on your part. Things are tough, situations come up, and we are going to continue to see this happen. So we have to reach out and help each other. So Crystal, is there anything else you want to say before we close? I'll put your website up for people. They can go and visit it and find out more information.
I do want to thank everybody who stepped up since last week, since I put out the plea, the crisis mode situation. There have been some of our regular volunteers have stepped up and just reached out. They've reached out to friends. They've sent emails to hay stores and feed stores to work with us on creating fundraisers. We've had a friend who's donated in the past offer to match $5,000, and so the GoFundMe that's up right now that will be matched up to $5,000. And just really the outpouring of support has been incredible. It's definitely gotten us through this last week emotionally, and it's going to physically buy food for another month or two beyond what we feared. So it's been incredible. It's been beautiful, and I just feel so grateful to know such wonderful people.
Well, that's a good way to end this. But as we said before, we still need to get some help. So don't forget about the rehoming. If you have any ideas or of someone that can rehome pigs and also goats, please get in touch with Crystal. Sooner the better. And we will see you next time, everyone. Thank you for watching. Crystal, thank you for coming on tonight. Bye-bye.
Thank you.